What is up, good Cancer people? Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. That's me. It's been a minute. I took a little hiatus from YouTube. Sort of unexpectedly, but probably for the best. Anyway, I'm back. We're going to do it. Here is your general reading, Cancer, roughly for the month of March 2022. Anyone and everyone is welcome in this reading. Of course, it is going to be geared more towards my Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Please come into this reading with an open heart, an open mind, desire to better yourself. If the messages that come through don't resonate, it might not be your message this week. That does sometimes happen. But feel free to check back at a later date. Sometimes the messages will resonate more in the future. Other than that, let's try and have some fun and get you some insightful messages. We're going to touch on love, relationships, as well as money. So we'll see what comes out first, and we'll make sure we include both those topics. And anything else that wants to come through, of course. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. Let's do it. Let's get one more good shuffle for Cancers and hop right in. Cancer. All right, we're going to split the deck here. What is the first message? Queen of Wands. All right, someone is confident and standing in their power. This almost has sort of like a political aspect to it. So obviously that's not going to be literal for most of you. But who knows? Maybe you're running for your local, I don't know, town office or something like that. What I'm getting off of this more is that you've had to make some sort of take a stance in your life, and I think you're doing it knowing that it's not going to please everyone, but I don't know, you feel like you're able, sorry, I want to phrase this correctly. I'm sort of getting the idea of internally you're able to back it up with lots of facts and support and reasoning. That word reasoning is very important here. But there's an air of confidence where you don't feel like you have to prove yourself to other people or over-explain it because you just simply know something to be true. Intuitively, I think you sense that this may cause a little bit of waves for people external, to you, whether it's at work or in the family or relationships. But I don't know. I think you're going to have peace of mind from making this decision. To me, the biggest message here is trusting your intuition, because I think there is something to celebrate, but it's more on a personal level, even though a lot of you may be in the public sphere right now or having to take some sort of public stance on something. I know what an unusual way to start the reading. Interesting. All right. So then you have the Two of Cups. So for some of you, you're taking, not taking a stance, standing up for, standing behind someone you really love and support. It could be that there's an awkward dynamic in like a family situation, bringing in a new romantic partnership. And so, you're essentially you are taking sides, but it's what your heart is telling you to be true. But again, by choosing that person or that relationship, it may put you at odds with someone else. But I will say, Cancer, if at one point in time that was stressful for you, it doesn't seem to be anymore because you're listening to your intuition, you're following your heart. Others of you, these are not yet related, but will be. If this is more you taking a stance or a position of leadership, that's a good way to put it, in your work, in your life, wherever, it seems that you're attracting people who are of the same mindset and believe in what you're saying or doing. And so that's going to help you find at minimum friendship. But for those looking for something possibly romantic, that's certainly in the cards with Two of Cups. It's a very strong Cancer card. And with this, there's a very peaceful dynamic to this relationship, this connection, right? We have the little doves flying overhead. So let's do one or two more on this. Interesting. And then the Tower. All right. So what's this all about? It looks great. And then we reach a Tower. And this tower looks a little bit rough, but let me see. Some of you have Six of Cups. This is a Sun and Scorpio card. Six of Cups is typically a card reminding us of the past. It can be being quite sentimental. Oh, I see what this is. Okay. But because the planetary connection is Sun and Scorpio, we have to remember that this card sometimes it encourages us to look at the past, but then immediately, reground ourselves in the present or possibly into the future, because it is a card of transformation, right? That is sort of the astrological connection to Scorpio, right? They are the transformers of the zodiac. So sometimes with this, there might have been a looking back to the past and feeling very sentimental, but something about going back to the past and trying to relive it or rediscover it it's not what it used to be. I think you've come to discover something has already changed. And so I don't at all mean this to sound negative. And I mean, this message makes sense anyway, because Cancers have a strong connection to the past and history and ancestry. Recently, or, whatever that means, in the past several months, several weeks, you may have gone back to something in the past, and it's not to say it's bad, but it's not what it used to be. And I think that's what this Tower card is there's some realization that something or someone in your life, you tried to go back to it, but it wasn't the same. So you have no choice but to move forward and to change the situation in some way. These all feel very strong and very positive. Some of you may be going back to right the wrong of a relationship, especially in your youth. If you had a very turbulent dynamic, particularly with maybe a mother figure, or I don't know, it could even be a brother or something potentially in the family, maybe a relationship, whatever. The Tower moment is forcing you sort of out of the darkness to see it with more illumination and clarity, and to ultimately heal from it and transform your life into something new. We have to remember the Tower card is followed by the Star. So the Star of illumination, the Star of healing. So this may also indicate, I don't know if you guys have recently already been doing something of the sort, like going back to the past to finally heal something and really release it is what I get. Almost like, the scorpionic, butterfly flying free from the chrysalis or the cocoon, or however you want to say it. This may be a moment of pride where you have to go back and really stand up for yourself and stand your ground, especially if you felt like in the past you were sort of pushed aside or dismissed or diminished or just not treated with sort of the respect you deserve. Maybe you were kind of like a yes man or a yes woman or whatever. That's what this could be. You're in a position where there's a tremendous sense of pride and love of self, and I really like that. But I think deep down it's going to come with causing some waves, because maybe before you were so careful not to cause waves, right? You were trying to do the right thing for everyone, but then by default you kind of left your own value to the wayside. So that's what I mean. I think you're going back to repair a relationship that maybe there wasn't peace and harmony there at one time, but I do think there's almost like a domino effect or a ripple effect where when you tell the universe, like, no, I deserve more respect than this, or I want to go back and say the thing I needed to say. And I would always advise, it's not about vengeance, right? It's not about having the last word. It's really, again, to purify and detoxify it from your soul, from your body, from your mind. You're doing it for you. And with that, whether this relationship is healed, here in the 3D, for some of you, this may have to do with forgiving someone who's already passed on, right? For others of you, there just may have been a sort of a shedding of the skin where you're not directly having a conversation with the person who did you wrong, but there's an understanding of being able to release them now with some new perspective, because something inside you has changed. Pisces season is a tremendous time for all of us to do some sort of spiritual healing, right? But anyway, what I'm getting at is, however this, reconciliation or apology or forgiveness or releasing happens, there's a domino effect in which it attracts someone new into your life who's sort of gone through either something similar, or there's something about your emotional intelligence that is attracting someone of a similar nature. And again, it doesn't have to be romantic, but it certainly could. It could be someone who has strong water in their chart, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Of course, it doesn't have to be. But yeah, with this Tower card, I don't think it's anything to fear. It just feels to me like the realization of trying to recapture or relive something of the past, it's like you just can't go back. At least not in the same capacity, or not relive it the same way. You can go back and return to something, but you're a changed person now. You're not the same person you were when this first happened or occurred. And so there's a new take on it, and I don't know. I also think this is symbolic of you rewriting the story of not being the victim anymore, or not being the one who was taken advantage of or pushed aside. It's at one point in time that may be your memory of the situation, but even just mentally by going back and revisit it and changing the narrative for yourself. I don't mean out of disillusion, just simply, why am I holding on to this negative energy about, the person I used to be? It's life-changing. It's transforming for you. All right. let's get a new message. Tell me a little bit more about my Cancers watching. In fact, let's talk about love. For those interested in love, looking for love, wanting stories about love. Some of you realized that you were holding on to something for too long and that you had the power this whole time to sort of let go and release. And it's just one of those things where it was all about the timing for you. Eventually you realize you didn't have to hold on to this story, this person, this narrative, and it's life-changing when you understand that you can release it. That was entirely up to you this whole time. And so, it's not about wasted time or wasted energy, but there's a feeling of rebirth for you in the coming month or two. The Magician. All right, manifesting new love for some of you. Some of you are manifesting a soulmate. Some of you have already met this person in your dreams, or you had a dream about something. I don't know what that is. Let's see. You had a dream that something was blocked. I'm not sure if this has to do with love. This may have to do with love of a friend or family, but it could be romantic. I'm not sure. You had a dream that you couldn't get to someone. It's like in your dream you were trying to rescue them or save them or just simply have a conversation, and you couldn't reach them. You couldn't get to them in time. A lot of you are holding on to sort of the subconscious guilt of a family member passing away. So do keep that in mind. That may come up in sort of your healing journey in the next couple months. And I don't predict death for you guys know in my channel. That's just not something I fuck with. That's not up to me to decide. And yeah, so this is not a message about fear by any means. This is about like a dream, right? A fantasy. Piscean energy, right? Neptune. Others of you, it was similar. It's not necessarily that you were trying to save them or rescue them. It's that you were speaking to them, but they couldn't hear you. Almost like you were being ignored. And that may have to do with a family member as well. And so that in itself is a very heavy message of, possibly growing up and not feeling heard, not feeling like you mattered, like you counted. Your dreams are going to be very insightful in the next month and sort of inform you on some areas where you may want to focus more attention on healing in order to, be the best version of yourself, to declutter things that you're holding on to, even subconsciously, that you don't really need anymore. Because I think the Magician says to me, you have the power to clear this out if you want to. And there's no reason for you to hide from the world too. A lot of you get very engrossed in, especially my Cancer risings, like maybe obsessive about your hobbies or things you do. Maybe you're a bit of a homebody, and to a certain extent there's nothing wrong with that if it's healthy, if it's something you enjoy and it's good for you. But at what point are you blocking the world out as a diversion, right? To be safe, to not have to, you know what I mean? There might be an unhealthy balance of that. Yeah, exactly. Fear. Tell me a little bit more about this. This is one of my favorite cards in tarot. I just think the depiction of it is so cool. I just love it. And I mean, the Eight of Swords is a heavy card, right? It talks about our own mental prisons and where we need to liberate ourselves and bust free from negative thoughts and thinking, right? But there is sun there, right? The idea of burning things away. Again, very Scorpio energy. Phoenix from the ashes. I think, yeah, in the coming month, you may be doing a lot of healing on I'm sort of getting like abolishing or demolishing your own fears. I don't know what this has to do with love, but I mean, let's see. Let me switch decks. I was gonna say, let me see if I can get anything else about love. These all seem related to me, but you tell me. Let me know in the comments. All right, let's. I just feel like I'm getting the same kind of repeated messages about healing traumas of the past, going back to the past and revisiting with new eyes, with a fresh perspective. So let's refocus our energy. Let's talk about love, relationships, connections. And I mean, technically that probably does have to do with love. It's probably just not, well, I don't know. It might not be romantic love. It didn't feel like romantic love to me, but everybody's story is a little bit different. So for Cancer, looking for love, Cancer in love, what can I tell Cancer? The Hanged Man. All right, things are a little bit delayed. Or it's like sleepy. I almost get the idea that like it's a little bit boring right now, or held up, or yeah, you just don't seem super jazzed. You seem a little bit like indifferent or lacking motivation to go after something. All right, 5 of Coins. That's not great. I almost get you snooze, you lose. So if this isn't you, it's possible that like you're interested in someone, but they're taking their sweet time and you're just kind of over it. So some of you may be jumping to conclusions that this person isn't interested. My gut reaction, though, is not that. It's really that this person is very indecisive and doesn't know what they want. And so it's almost like you're all in and you think you're in love and you have this big crush, but then it's not reciprocated. And so without words, right, there seems to be a lack of communication here. It's like, I think you already know it to be true that this person doesn't place the same amount of value on you as you do them. And I mean, I get it. That's a shitty message, right? But you know, I got to steer you right here. My impression of this is that it's not moving fast enough and not giving you what you need in a relationship. And so you're unable to give, you know, you're unable to keep feeding this relationship because it's leaving you feeling empty. Yeah, there's a little bit of conflict. I think you're really tempted to let go of this. And ironically, there might be people around you telling you to not let it go. Like, hold on to it. This is a good one. You're being impatient. You're sabotaging. I don't know if that's true. Let me get another vibe on that. It's like almost holding on to this relationship or trying to keep stoking the fire and keeping it alive. It's either taking a lot out of you or it just feels like there's no return on it. Like you're not getting, like, I don't know, like this person just isn't, they're just not in it. I don't know what's going on here. What's the intention of this person? Queen of Swords. Yeah, they're a little bit cold. And I don't necessarily mean emotionally, but it's like that flirty fire passion connection. It's at a distance. There's something not super inviting or welcoming about it. This person might be up in their head a lot. And again, what I think it's lacking is clear communication. So it's possible that this person doesn't have clarity. It's like, you know, the hangman is inverted to see things from a new perspective. So to me, that almost indicates like the initial reaction, the initial perception, it's not quite taking them. So it's like they're trying to examine it in a different way. But what's to examine? Like either it is or isn't, right? I don't know. Love is complicated. Who knows? Five of Coins. Why is this being presented here? The Emperor. Yeah, because you want to be treated like you're important. You want someone to take initiative. You want this person to show more initiative, more action, more confidence. I think it's a very masculine energy, right? The Emperor. So whether you're interested in males or females, there's something a little bit more aggressive about the Emperor, right? It's Aries energy. So it's almost like this is what you think they could be. You see the potential in it, but right now it's just like this sleepy man upside down on a tree. Like it's not super sexy, right? Yeah, I don't know. And it's sort of, you know, the people and then sort of the resolution or how it ends. I don't love the Five of Wands. It feels like it's just, you feel a little bit trapped. I mean, you have 2 fives, so change is on the horizon in some way. Like something's got to give here. And the Hangman does transform, but it does transform into the Death card, right? So typically the Death card represents like the ending of a cycle and you know, out of the cocoon, right? The butterfly flies again. What that ends up being between you guys, I don't know if I love this. What is the reason to hold on, if any? The Ace of Swords. So there might be more information coming about. There might be some sort of explanation of what their behavior has been. Or at minimum, there may be a conversation about truth and about where they are. I do think it is coming from this person that you have going on in your life because I can just tell by like the symbolism of the birds. But it might be that idea of, I don't know, this message sounds kind of shitty. I'm just going to be honest though, Cancer. So, you know, earmuffs if you're not ready for this. But it almost feels like this person is just kind of wading through the water. Like this might be an in-betweener. I don't even know if it's a rebound because it doesn't even seem all that like sexually passionate. So if you're in a relationship that's like hot and heavy, this probably isn't your message. But yeah, it feels very dry and cold and like you're looking to heat it up, right? Because you have the Emperor here. So you're like, come on, like give me something, give me your energy. But it's like this person, it feels like this person is either, I don't know, not rebounding, but like they're just entertaining it, maybe because they're afraid to be alone. Boom, that's exactly what this is. Especially with the Queen of Swords, kind of the Libra scale energy. You know, a scale only works when there's equilibrium, when you have something or someone on both sides. So the two, right, the duality. This person is someone who like needs partnership in their life and they might be afraid to be alone. But then they get into the wrong partnerships because, I don't know, this person has some healing work to do. So, I don't want you to take on the responsibility of their actions and their feelings, but like, no wonder they're inverted, right? No wonder they're still the hangman. Like, they have some shit to sort through so they can rebirth themselves. And I think that might be the truth that comes out. What can we tell Cancer? If you're resonating with this, guys, right? I'm not saying this is everyone's story. These are general messages, but intuitively, you're going to know if this is your message, right? I don't know why I'm telling you this because I'm a nerd, but have you guys seen Ghostbusters 2? Like the original with like Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray? Doesn't that look like the villain in it? Vigo? You know that like art painting thing that comes to life and he's like the villain? I just spoiled the movie for you if you haven't seen Ghostbusters 2, but like, honestly, it was 1989. Get it together if you haven't seen Ghostbusters 2. Sorry. All right, here we go. Let's wrap this up and give Cancer a new message. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like any of these, if I'm being honest. This could even be sexual frustration. Like, you're wanting to heat things up and move forward, and this person's just being icy cold. They're like always too tired. They're stuck in their cocoon. And I'm not saying this person is a villain or a monster. You know, please don't misconstrue my joke as that. But they're still sorting through a lot. Like, they have a lot on their mind. And I think it's leaving them frozen or stuck in this sort of state of confusion, right? Pisces season, a lot of Neptunian energy. But one more card, like in terms of if Cancer were to release this, what else can I tell them? The Ten of Coins. Is this person married? Is this person going through a divorce? I will say, if you're in a relationship where it's imbalance, where you're doing all the giving and you're not getting anything back emotionally, mentally, physically, whatever, I think when you release this, there's going to be a huge wake-up call about, you know, recognizing your own value and your worth and not entering into any sort of partnerships or contracts where you feel slighted or where you're just not being treated the way you need to be treated, right? Ten of Coins. There might be a secret about marriage here. And I only say that because these two cards, these two coins. But that's interesting, the Two of Coins, like the indecision, the imbalance, the juggling, right? It's possible someone here might be married. Some of you flat out already know that and you're hoping things turn around. I don't see that happening. Just to be completely honest. Others of you, if this has been like an ongoing relationship and it sort of feels like you're out of the honeymoon stage and you've plateaued, it could be that one or both of you is trying to fix it by like, let's get married. But I don't know, again, with the cards, I feel like I think that's going to happen with someone else. At least where the energy is at currently. I think there's a secret that, I don't know, some of you, you're frustrated. Like internally, you know something about this is weird, but you keep hoping for the best. I don't know, for a few of you, it might be that this person is already married or significantly tied to someone else, possibly engaged, or maybe they're, you know, kind of sort of divorced, but they haven't actually done the paperwork yet. Like there's a lot holding this person up, and that's not your job to wait for them. If anything, that's a detriment to you and your self-respect. Like you got to go out and live your best life. And, you know, if this person comes back around with a new offer or whatever you need, cool. But yeah, for the time being, don't love that. Man, Cancer, it's Pisces season. Come on. What are we doing here? How am I doing for time? Oh my God. All right, let's talk about money. And if I still have time, we'll circle back and try and do one more reading about something positive in love. That one was brutal, but I do have faith somebody needed to hear that. So, all right, let's talk about Cancer's money. Money for Cancer. Money, career, work, job, you know, interviews, anything related to Cancer's livelihood, their income. What are some messages that my Cancer gang needs to hear? For Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or the cross watchers. What does Cancer need to hear right now? Patience. You need to be patient. Some of you may pursue a career in, actually it's funny, the first thing I heard was education, but what I meant to say was healing. But the Sagittarian energy, so Sagittarians are sort of the philosophers of the zodiac, very much connected to kind of ninth house activities. So anything travel related, marketing, publishing, religion, philosophy, languages, that's all very Sagittarian energy. Others of you, if it doesn't have to do with sort of those Sagittarian like topics, some of you may just need to take a break. You may sort of need to rebalance your energy or put more time and effort into something that you've put to the sidelines. Yeah, especially if you have like a side hustle or a side career that is very enjoyable but not necessarily lucrative. I think it's good for your energy to just participate in that, or maybe it's just a hobby, right? But there's something about rebalancing your energy. Mixing fire and water, that's sort of what temperance is sort of stands for here. So blending of opposites, the blending of two different things, and maybe it's not the same stream of income. In fact, that's exactly what this could mean. It's maybe exploring multiple streams of income. Some of you need to sell off old stuff. You know, Jupiter energy, it's like there's too much stuff. There's too much going on. We have to like streamline it. We have to get it down to the basics. But you could make money selling old items or going through your house, your apartment, your attic, and getting rid of what you don't need. And something about that, there's like an epiphany or an insight that comes from handling some sort of object in your home. I don't know what that is, but it has something to do with your career. This also says you're being divinely guided, right? You know, your angel gang, whatever you believe in as a higher source, is around you. They're trying to guide you, so be patient, be good to yourself, focus on your wellness and your healing. Something creative. Some of you need to just bust out like the paints or the markers or the crayons and just like express yourself in a way where it's, you know, there's no pressure, there's no timeline, there's no limits. You just need to like express the emotional side of your nature, because it feels very clogged or congested or constipated right now. In fact, all those things are coming up are very bodily related, right? So some of you need to do like a cleanse. You need to take better care of your body, especially your food consumption. Frozen funds. Some of you are trying to access some money and it's not coming through. Why is that? Because it's in progress, it's in transit. Some of you are waiting on the delivery or the arrival of something, but it's going to be a little bit delayed, but it is coming in. And when it comes in, it'll be great. Some of you just need to take a vacation now, especially if you're in like, you know, winter season, if you're in like a really cold climate, or there's something that's just drab and draining on your energy. You need to like Jupiterize it. You need to shake it up and make it fun, you know. Even if that's just in your imagination, right? In your fantasy, if you're going to do something fun and creative in your house and, you know, pretend that you're not in a blizzard. Or some of you need to physically just like hop on a plane and take like, you know, a mini vacation or something like that. You need to shake it up. And by means of not adding more stress and strain, it's really to calm your body, to reset your energy. And for Cancerians, like water, be in, around, by water, you know. Go to some little spa, you know, go to a Airbnb that has a jacuzzi, take a soak in your bathtub, you know, go to the indoor pool at the gym, whatever it is, it's like resetting your body right now. So the Wheel of Fortune I like. Yeah, I think this is saying hang in there a little bit longer. Some of you are experiencing incredibly frustrating delays, but things are changing in the background. You just don't see it. So have faith that you are on the right path. If it feels like everything is out of your control and you want to take action and move forward, but there's nothing you can do, well, then that's your answer. What you can do and what you can control is how you treat yourself. Working to regulate your emotions better, working to unplug a bit, especially from technology, like hit reset, go out in the fresh air, go out in nature, go on some sort of mini adventure, even if it's in like your backyard or whatever, you know, play with your kids. I don't know, do some spiritual work. Some of you therapy or talking to a therapist would be helpful right now. And so what comes with this Wheel of Fortune? I think I saw Page of Pentacles, so possibly a job offer. Let's see. Some of you are fighting with arrogant people at work. If that's the case, I think there will be a peace offering there. Again, you have the Two of Cups, where it's like the same thing happened in the first spread we did. It's like you go through some major change or transition that it is a little bit uncomfortable, maybe because there's a lot of unknowns right now, but it leads to some beautiful connection. So this, you know, in a career reading could certainly be a job offer, a collaboration of some kind, especially a creative collaboration, working with other healers or other creatives. So when the Wheel of Fortune starts to come in, some of you are just in a, not cutthroat, that's not what I mean. You're in competition for a role or a bigger salary or, you know, whatever it is, you know, in your work. It's like you're one of many competing. if that's the result, I would say for most of you, it ends very well. I think it ends in your benefit in some way or another. And sometimes that doesn't happen the way we think it's going to, right? So let's say there's a bunch of people in competition for the new senior management or whatever. You may throw your hat in the ring and there's, processes of interviews and this and that. If this could indicate, yeah, sure, you get the job offer. It's a nice match. If you don't, though, it's because it wasn't meant to be yours, right? Because that's how the universe works. And there's something better in alignment for you, but you do need to be patient. In fact, if I'm being completely honest, that's the main message here, because there's something about frozen time. Something is a little bit stuck and we have to wait for it to thaw, right? So yeah, it's cheesy, but it's true. If you don't succeed, try again, because something good does come from this, but there's a period of frustration and delay. Hang in there. Yeah, there's definitely something you don't know about this, so you need to keep proceeding down, down the rabbit hole, or keep proceeding down the path, being okay with not having all the answers. This card, the moon, right, it's shadowy energy. When the moon is out, there's just a little bit of light. We can't see everything in front of us. It can be a little bit mysterious and intriguing. It can also be a little bit scary and intimidating, right? Best advice or guidance with this is don't operate out of fear. Don't make decisions when you're not in a good emotional state, when you're feeding into fears and anxieties. The moon should more sort of be about an exploration of giving into the divine, of releasing control and expectation, and just sort of discovering, exploring, immersing yourself in the energies. It's Piscean energy, right? And that's the time period we're in. So make good use of that sort of, I don't want to say confusion, but lack of precision. Let's say it that way. The lack of maybe boundaries, or the lack of, I don't mean boundaries, like definition of, black is black and white is white and this is the contract and sign on the dotted line. That's not Piscean energy, right? That's kind of the opposite. That's very Virgo, right? Let's classify and categorize. And Pisces is just like, let's just dance. Let's, let's jump in the ocean and dance and make some art and listen to music, and let's, go into our mind and explore some stuff. And it's a little bit vague and confusing, but again, if you know that going in, find avenues and alleys to sort of enjoy that lack of specificity. I'm trying to come up with all these positive spins on it, but there's a lot you don't know, but you have no choice but continue down the path. Again, be good to your body, take it slow and steady. There could be a Pisces waiting for you at the end of this, whatever that means to you. Song and dance is very important in this card too. So if by any means that has to do with your career or a hobby, some sort of pleasure activity, song and dance, music is coming through here. All right, and then kind of soulmate energy, or a solid foundation, a solid platform, a milestone in your life and your career. Yeah, this feels like you do get a job offer where it feels quite compatible. And it might come as a bit of a surprise. This may happen unexpectedly, possibly in a friendship group. Or it may happen out of the clear blue, like you stumble right into it, but it's not necessarily what you were looking for. But if you really do listen to that intuition and let yourself explore and discover what's around you, you walk into a really good opportunity, and very likely something you're very happy at. That's what I get from that energy. Yeah, keep moving along. I think you're through the worst of it. Right now, there's just a little bit more delays. It's like, I almost see this symbolically as we started and we're wading through the water and we got through, the rocky waters. We're moving ahead, but we just discovered that that half of the lake is still frozen. So it's like, you're already there. You can't go back at this point, but you just kind of have to wait until the gates open back up. And I think that's what this is. Things are going to start to change, I think, more towards the end of Pisces season for you, Cancer. So don't give up, right? Keep your emotions in check in with yourself, and do things that are healing and give you pleasure and allow you to relax. Don't take on more. Don't add more stress to your plate, because I don't think that's going to help, all right? The Wheel of Fortune is a great money card. And actually, I think these are too, but yeah, these cards I could see being a little bit frustrating, so you kind of have a mixed bag. But don't give up. How are we doing for time? All right. Anything else I may have missed? Actually, let's switch decks. My Cancers, are you still there? Is anybody still out there? For Cancer, let's give them one last message. I can feel like people are curious about relationships. Ace of Wands, sex, fire, passion, creativity, enthusiasm, excitement. What gets you jazzed? What lights your fire, Cancer? Some of you need to quit smoking. Some of you need to get your hair done, or there's some focus on like external beauty, and that is what it is. I'm not here to comment or judge that, but some of you, it's like that's going to revitalize you. It's going to make you feel fresh. There's something about your hair. Something has been bothering you or nagging you about your hair, or I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, guys, but you'll know if it's your message. If not, disregard. The Emperor. All right. So a new start with an Aries, a new start in your job, a new start with your father. The Fool. Yeah, again, reinforcing a new start, taking a leap of faith. Yeah, there could be something that comes out of the blue. It's like the dust settles from a previous chapter, and you didn't realize because, symbolically it's like you're in this cloud of fog or smoke, and so you can't quite see straight or see clearly. That's sort of the moon energy. But it's like the clouds part of the dust settles, and you're like, oh, what is this? Like, it's been in front of you for a while. You just didn't consider it, or you weren't able to see it before. But it's a big opportunity, and it's new. And the Emperor, again, usually has to do with, it is the card of Aries. So for those who have an Aries in your life, it also has to do with accomplishments in the career, being very confident, being sort of a trailblazer, branching off on your own and doing something. It's a great card for like entrepreneurial energy, like sort of the idea of like going at it alone. And the Fool is like taking a leap of faith. There's someone, I get here, there's someone that doesn't want to let you go, but it's out of love and concern. But it's like you already know you're going to. So I guess this isn't a bad message, but it's saying don't let your sentimentality get to you because, your mom or your dad or whoever's like, no, but I'll miss you, don't go, or your friend or whoever. It's like, you got to go. You got to go and explore and see what's there. Five of Pentacles and the Hermit. Some of you are coming to the realization that you don't have to go at it alone, that you can ask for help. Some of you have realized you've had a really good confidant this whole time, and there could have been like a really great collaboration between you, but for some reason it never got off the ground. So some of you are starting to consider that again. Or maybe not again, but I don't know. There's something like it's obvious. It's been there the whole time, and maybe it's romantic. Maybe it's like someone you've always just assumed was your friend, but there was both like maybe sort of questions of hidden feelings or really like badass work collaboration. It's like it was never discussed or taken advantage of, but it's like you're about to light the match. It's about to start some sort of like chemistry, right? That's a good way of putting it. Might be with a Virgo, an Aries, an Aquarius. Some of you are going to go back to school and study. Some of you are going to find a really important mentor in your career. This has a huge vibe of mentorship. And that might be you, too. You may take on some sort of leadership position where you're able to mentor people who are struggling in their career or whatever it is. The Star. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so this does end on a positive note. The Star is about your long-term dreams and wishes. And staying grounded, like 1 foot on land, 1 foot in sea. That's typically what it stands for. Double Aquarian energy. Thinking outside the box, being different, being unique, being innovative, and being at peace with that. Not feeling like you need to fit into a certain form or I guess like conformity is sort of like the death of the Aquarius, right? And then you're off. It's like once you embrace what makes you different and unique, that's the correct path. So yeah, if you're spinning your wheels and feeling confused, I do feel like you're very susceptible to other people's influence. And I think that's why this Aries energy, this independent, just ram through the door type of energy is coming through. It's like you have to decide what's right in your heart and just go after it, without questioning it, without fear, without, checking in to make sure that everyone else is comfortable. Because the thing is, Cancer, you're probably going to do that anyway, but we're not going to do that anymore to the demise of sacrificing our own dreams and wishes, right? All right, Cancers, this has been a long-ass reading, but that's what I got for you for the month of March. I hope that was helpful. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.